In this summary of the subsequential performances of the three jazz genres, the standard alone together, the blues, as in blues in Goes, and the rhythm change, maybe not, an increasing transmutational level of abstraction comes forward. More and more, the different aspects of transmutation are made clear in the exposition, the analysis, and conclusion of each performance, in such a way that you, being a listener, scholar, guitarist, aficionado, can develop a better understanding of the influence of the classical guitar upon these genres. In this conclusion, the most evident aspects of transmutation of the classical guitar in the three pieces are surmounted in a qualitative way as well as a quantitative way because of the use of the aspects in practice. With these aspects in mind, by listening to the three pieces one after another, an abstraction becomes evident in sound awareness. This is a way of structural hearing focused on transmutation. As such, this is leading towards a comprehension of an aesthetic strategy for structural hearing. Now, the conclusion is as follows. From the system tables, we see the following characteristics for transmutation due to the experiment and improvisation. Polyphony is audible in a movement in the separate voices of the chord and the block chords as functional harmony. These and the next mentioned features contribute to the interactions as initiating, imitating, responding, contrasting, forward motion and driving, all made possible by the classical fingerstyle technique. Melodically, the influence of the classical guitar is mainly to be found in the Sekundgang, the second intervals development of the main, middle and bass in the chordal melody, and on the other hand, in the wide interval jumps in the autonomous improvisations. Then there is the arpeggio melody technique, the use of open string in single note lines. Harmonically, the interval structure of chordal melody in combination with open strings for cluster chords is an important aspect of the influence of the classical guitar on chordal improvisation. The location of the voices in the voicing and the voice leading exhibit the distinctive influence of the characteristics of this instrument. Rhythmically, the influence of the classical guitar can be noticed in the relationship between melody, bass, and middle voices. The rhythmic interaction between the voices is made possible by the fingerstyle arpeggio technique. This is characteristic of classical guitar playing and the interwoven rhythm patterns that refers to the rhythms of Brazilian music, for instance, with its typical guitar style, and also the open polymetric rhythms with constantly changing patterns. Next, the sound, or rather the tone of the nylon strings in the jazz setting. The combination with the blue note aspect is essential in the linear performance and the harmonic. Also, the classical fingerstyle technique as well as the left hand technique on the nylon strings determine the unique sound performance. Finally, the sound imitation of other jazz instruments reveals the distinctive sound quality of the classical guitar. The 5 parameters above come together in aspects of expression, which is further expanded with characteristics and features resulting from the application of these 5 elements. It is expression as a structural former and overarching aspect of jazz that the characteristic influence the transmutation of jazz by the classical guitar and vice versa is expressed. There is the quantitative dimension. This is evident in the dynamics and sound effects, the articulation and the narrative of citations and onomatopoeia. described in the analysis, whereas in the first 5 analytical items, 2 of the 3 aspects can be found that determine the distinctive influence of the classical guitar on jazz. In the case of expression, there are at least 6 integrating the items of the other 4 criteria. But not only quantitatively can this transmutation be indicated, especially qualitatively. In the end, the outcome is a specific description of what is actually easily audible to the listener and a guide for the performing musician, an oral and expressive live realizable model for a cognitive attitude to understand and experience the classical guitar in jazz.